Drop a Dress Size, written by Bridie Banwell and read by Claudette Evans. This evening's meeting marked the first anniversary of Drop a Dress Size, or simply DADS for short. As Trudy prepared the church hall, memories of that first night were recalled in vivid detail. It was amazing to think this was just a year ago. The charts had been pinned on the wall, with the ancient abacus placed on the table alongside with diet and exercise sheets stacked in neat piles along with registration forms. The wooden folding chairs were set out in rows facing the front. A set of weighing scales lay on the floor underneath the table. All that was needed were potential clients. Sadly, not one person had turned up that night, nor for the next following 6 weeks. She couldn't comprehend the lack of interest. Hundreds of flyers had been posted through letterboxes. A mound of business cards had been printed at great expense. Piles of them had been strategically placed on the main reception desk of the leisure centre where Trudy worked as a pool attendant. She had even spent a fortune on a full-page advertisement in the local paper. By the 7th week, she had decided that it was time to give up. The expenditure so far had been excessive. With no income to show for her efforts, it was impossible to carry on paying rent each week for an empty room. As she parked her car outside the church hall, her spirits suddenly lifted at the sight awaiting her. A group of 5 people stood at the church hall entrance, consisting of 8 women and 1 man, with an age ranging from 30 to 50 years of age. That first group had successfully attained their target weights with a great deal of willpower, plenty of exercise and bags of encouragement from Trudy. It was a matter of genuine pride for Trudy, as each one of them in turn stepped onto the scales for the very last time and looked across at the table where the abacus was placed. The top row of red counters represented stones, the yellow second row pounds, the green third row ounces. So much easier to stick to the old imperial system of weights. The bottom row of blue counters, when moved to the right, depicted a weight gain. To the left, a loss. Each of the first group of members observed those counters in anticipation each week until the desired weight loss had been attained. As time went by, one member had given up the course after a few weeks, but the majority stayed on, and her success rate brought in new members all the time. Tonight, she looked at the photos on the board of before and after the weight loss course. She smiled with satisfaction at a job well done. She had started the classes mainly because she had once been overweight herself. It had taken a massive effort to join the local branch of Weight Watchers. Trudy would never forget that first session. Her cheeks burned at the memory of that humiliation. Sonia the rep had stared at her with unconcealed contempt, her nose wrinkling in disgust as the hour on the scales whizzed around and came to an abrupt stop. Trudy was shocked herself, but if she had expected the slightest hint of compassion, it soon became clear there would be none. After 6 weeks of Sonia's extremely unhelpful diet hints and humiliating taunts, she left vowing never to join another weight loss club. Trudy was an exceptionally tall young woman, but Sonia had managed to make her feel small in the nastiest way possible. That seemed a lifetime ago now. She glanced at the life-size cardboard cutout of her old self. That girl was now unrecognisable. Each week she placed the cardboard effigy at the front entrance to the hall in order to encourage her members to keep on counting the calories and sticking with the exercises until they were satisfied with how their bodies should be to make them feel happy. After tonight's session, Trudy and members of Dad's were off to a darts match at the local pub. Once a month, she encouraged the members to let their hair down for a couple of hours and join her at the Black Cat. Playing darts was great fun and a much-needed break from worrying about diet sheets, calorie counting, weighing scales and healthy eating. For at least a couple of hours, they could enjoy themselves while doing their best to win the match. Later on, they queued up at the bar to get a drink before the match started. Trudy spotted a familiar face from her past. The woman must have felt the intensity of the stare as she looked up quickly and glanced across the bar. The teams were introduced, and the woman Trudy had recognised was in the opposing team. The Dad's team were doing really well, when 20 minutes into the game, Trudy threw a dart and a loud scream could be heard through the pub as the arrow point pierced the woman's arm. She had been stood dangerously close to the dartboard. Everyone looked shocked, while Trudy apologised with much sincerity. Order was soon restored and the game continued. Only she knew the arrow had hit the right target. Sonia accepted the seemingly heartfelt apology with no hint of recognition as she looked at Trudy. It was little wonder. She was indeed a new woman. She looked completely different. Her figure had curves in the right places. Her hair was now long and honey-coloured. Her face was transformed. Those lovely features had been hidden under her once chubby cheeks. She felt just a fleeting pang of guilt for the childish retribution, but a small part was secretly glad to have got her revenge. The end.